everybody. Welcome to Life Stories Podcast. I am Shara Goswick, your host. Today is a special episode that I am so excited to share with you. I recently sent out an email to past guests to see if they would be interested in coming back on and telling us what's new, what they've been doing, how their work has changed, what exciting things have happened with them. And a bunch of them said yes, so I'm very excited. Today I'm going to share 2 interviews with you. The first one is Jessica Speer, who is an author, and she writes books for teens and preteens. Her first book that she wrote, I actually bought and gave to my granddaughter because she's around that age. And it's about friendships, about girl friendships. And if you're a woman, you know that friendships with other girls are tricky. And it doesn't matter how old you are, they're just always tricky. So it was a great book. My granddaughter has loved it so far, and I was excited to share it with her. She's written some more books. And I really had so much fun talking to her. Jessica is a fun guest because she is passionate about what she does. She loves what she gets to do. You can tell that she does. And it's fun to talk to somebody who truly enjoys what they're doing and wants to share. So I hope you enjoy. Hi, Jessica.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. I was excited to
Sure.
see your message and I re-listened to what we talked about last time just to remind myself. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to see where everybody is and what they're doing. And the first book that I bought of yours, the BFF or NRF, I gave it to my granddaughter and she had read it with my daughter, which I thought was so awesome. So I love that. I think the next one I need to get for her is the middle school book.
Yes.
Tell me everything. Tell me what's new and what you're working on and how it's
Oh, well,
going.
it's so fun to hear your granddaughter's progress too.
Yeah,
And I love that she's got, adults in her life that are kind of looking out for her and giving her
sure.
resources during those preteen years. Because as you know, that's like, I love that age group because is so much going on, as
Yeah.
well as the early teens. So when you and I talked last, I was in the midst of writing another book. This will be my 4th for preteens and teens,
Oh,
and
wow.
I
Oh,
finished, and
awesome.
but it's now in the editing and
Yes.
illustration phase. And
Okay.
this one is actually on mindfulness. So many preteens and teens these
Mhm.
days are struggling with depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put a book out there with some really simple tools that they will always have available to them. Mindfulness just takes remembering and practice, remembering to be mindful and remembering to practice some of the techniques to help settle ourselves when we're feeling, overwhelmed or stressed or, big emotions. So this book, like my other book, is filled with like fun brain facts and real stories of teens, but also some real practical tools to help
Yeah.
kids. Especially, I'm thinking early teens, especially,
Sure.
late preteens, early teens, where that's where a lot of this, anxiety and depression starts to set in.
Yeah. And, you know, being aware of what we're thinking about and where our minds are going, that's for all of us. I mean,
Oh,
adults
totally.
especially too. It's amazing when you sit down and think about what you're thinking about, it's not always pretty. I know it's not for me.
Yes.
So,
It's so, and as a mindfulness, I'm certified and trained in that, and someone who has actually been studying this for a long time, it's still a daily moment to moment practice for me too, because our
sure.
minds are such busy places. People are surprised to know, maybe or maybe not, but the majority of the time, instead of like being here in this moment, we are reliving the past through
Right.
memories, maybe rumination, or we're worrying about the future, planning. Sometimes there's some good to that. If we're relishing positive memories or we're planning for a trip, there's some real positives there. But often what's happening is, we're ruminating things we'd wish we'd done differently or said differently in the past, or we're worrying about what could possibly happen in the future. And all that takes away from this moment, but causes so much internal, turmoil and stress inside our bodies. So
Right.
that's what, mindfulness is, just noticing, like you said, noticing where are we right now?
Yeah.
How are we feeling right now? And if we are scattered, what can we do just to kind of settle ourselves and bring ourselves back to now? And they call it a practice, mindfulness practice, because that's exactly what it is. It's like it's moment to moment. For me, it's minute to minute because my
Mhm.
mind is really busy. And that's maybe what drew me to mindfulness in the first place.
That's awesome. For me, usually what I'm going over are conversations that have never happened, that will
Yeah.
probably never happen between me and other people. That's what I do a lot in my head.
You're already at the first step. So the first step is like noticing, like,
Right.
wow, my brain is doing this a lot. That's the
Yeah.
first step of this. And then
Yeah.
it takes a lot of practice to kind of shift back to, okay, here I am now.
Right.
I'm washing the dishes. That's all I'm doing. I'm
That's
washing
right.
the dishes. And so just it's a lifelong practice. But when we get really good at it, we do feel more settled.
Yeah.
Studies have shown that people feel their best when they are like focusing on the present moment and what they're doing right
Mhm.
now and who they're
Yeah.
talking to and what they're experiencing. That's when we feel our best. So that's why we're worried about this in the first place.
Yeah. And now it's so much harder to be focused on the present, I think, that it was like when I was growing up, before we had cell phones, before we had all the screens and all the things. We are so used to immediate gratification because everything is so fast now. It's at our fingertips. We can get what we want immediately, and we're frustrated when we don't. And I think before we had all of that, when we had to actually talk to people face to face, or
Yes.
you know what I mean, a big part of my growing up years was writing letters, writing actual letters with envelopes and
Hmm.
stamps, and I wasn't worried about the immediate, what I could have right now, right this minute in front of my face. So I know it's harder probably for kids now than it was when we were growing up. It's
It's
very
it's de
different.
it's very different and it is harder. And I find since I work with kids and teens a lot, they're actually craving that connection.
I
So
believe it.
the challenge is somebody in the group always has some phone, so it's or some
Right.
device, so they're distracted. But my daughter, who's now 17, she had this amazing opportunity to go away last semester, and she went to a semester-based. I keep calling it a camp, but it's not a camp. It was actually an academic semester, really science based. They lived outdoors in cabins, no tech, no phones.
Wow.
And so she got to experience for 4 months
Yeah.
what it was like to actually connect with their peers, without distractions, face to face. They
Sure.
played board games, they actually did most of their schoolwork not on a device. Occasionally they might have a Chromebook to write a paper, but most of it was actually back to old school notebooks. And this was life changing for her. I
I
mean,
bet.
she made such close relationships in that period of time. So I'm
Wow.
so grateful that she got to experience that,
Yes.
and these days it's harder to make that happen. It's
Yeah.
the technology is so pervasive. It's harder to for kids to have those opportunities to really, really connect with each other
Yeah.
without that.
Sure. I know before you had talked about how you were traveling to schools and going to, meet with students. Are you still doing that?
I am still doing that and
That's
talking about,
awesome.
all this, talking about, my first two books are really about social emotional
Mhm.
well-being and friendships. So I
Yeah.
talk a lot about that and also technology too. So I'm still out there and doing that. And I still love talking about those topics and meeting with
Yeah.
kids and parents on that. So yeah, everything's going, I feel so grateful. Everything is going
I'm
really
so
well. I'm actually,
glad.
I'm actually starting another book
Oh boy.
right now. I know, so I can't seem to stop myself. So my first book, which is the one that you gave to your granddaughter, which focused on preteen girls and friendship.
Right.
I knew the moment I released that, I'm like, I have to write another one of these,
Yeah.
for all kids. And so I'm working on that now.
That's great. So how can everybody support you other than buying your books, other than, sharing them? How can we support what you're doing?
Oh my gosh. Thank you for asking that.
Sure.
So here's one thing that is so helpful that people don't realize that unfortunately, authors like me, we are very much um, driven by reviews, so because
Yeah.
algorithms put at the top the books that, someone took the time to review.
Mhm.
So I always encourage, if anybody, bought the book, appreciated the book, a review on Amazon actually is great because it raises the visibility of the book. So not just for me, but think about, the books that you loved. If you take the
Right.
opportunity to review those somewhere, that is helping that author, you know, with visibility because the algorithms look at that sort of a thing. So
Yeah.
that's just one simple thing that would be super, super helpful to me.
Sure, that's wonderful. And I don't talk about it all the time, but I do talk about how important it is. And it's free. It's free to write a review. It's free
It
to share a post.
is.
It doesn't take any time and it's free.
And this
Everybody can
goes
do it.
for you too.
Yes,
So all of
yes.
us listeners of your amazing podcast, if we just go in to the whatever podcast app we're listening to
Right.
and click 5 stars, write a note or two, it supports your work as well. All of us who are communications people and writing creative stuff and putting things out in the world, unfortunately, those reviews actually really matter to us.
They really do. They're so important. Was there anything you want to talk about real quick before we go that I haven't asked you about or
Oh, so we're recording this right at the beginning of summer. And so
yeah.
what I encourage every listener, summer is just, to me, I love it because it's a chance for all of us to slow down, take a deep breath. Days are longer. If we have some kids or teens or, loved ones in our lives, can we find time to get outside with them? Go enjoy, a picnic at the park, go enjoy a hike, go, just get on your bike. So summer is to me just filled with so much potential for, us taking care of ourselves, us connecting with our family, and building our relationships with our family. So that's the only thing I would share. That's what I'm going to try to do this summer, and I encourage everyone else to like soak up the summer, soak up these moments we have with our loved ones.
Yes. And you have beautiful summers because you're in Colorado.
Yeah, I know. Where
Our
where are
summers are a
you?
little, I'm in Texas. So
Oh,
I don't spend a lot of time outside in the summer unless I'm next to a pool
so you
or a
got to get
beach
up
or
real
something.
early. You got to get
Yes.
or go for a really late night walk.
Yes, yes. But I
Oh.
do appreciate the sun. We are ready for some sunshine. We've had lots of rain lately, so I'm ready for some sun. But I think that's so smart. It's so good for you to be outside physically, and it gets you away from everything else. It gets you away from the TV and computer and the things that we feel like we're so busy we need to, stay with doing. So that's
Mhm.
that's good advice. I love that.
Thank you for having me back, and thank you for
Absolutely.
all of your work. It's so wonderful. I appreciate all the positive stories you're putting out in the world. So
Well, thank
great to chat
you.
with you again.
Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. Take
Okay.
care.
All right. Bye
Bye.
bye. Isn't she so wonderful? I just love talking to her. I love the books that she's writing and the topics that she's writing about because they're very important. I mean, think about when you were a preteen or a teenager. We didn't have cell phones when I was a kid, and we did have tricky female friendships. I think those have always been tricky. They may always be tricky. These are important topics. And so if you have a preteen girl in your life, I encourage you to go check out her books because they may be very helpful to someone that you know. So the next interview I have is very special. I talked to Tia Elie last year, I think. She started a nonprofit called Acts of Kindness New Hampshire. She met a man who was homeless near her salon, and she realized not only did he need help, but there was a very large group of people in their area that needed help. And she has done so much, her and a team of people, but she's the one that started this to help these people that they just need help. And I love what she's doing. But this interview was super special because in the first interview, she talked to me about the first man that she met, the reason that this whole organization got started. He's doing so well now, and she actually brought him on the interview, which was amazing. I got to meet him and talk to him, and you are going to love him. So here we go.
Well, first, this is Fads. This is the guy I talked about the other day on our last podcast. The one that we started the whole Acts of Kindness because of him. And as you can see, he's doing amazing and still working on getting a permanent home, but he is at least under a roof all the time now.
Wonderful.
And he is 6 months clean.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So proud of him. And so that's one of our huge accomplishments.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have so many of them actually, thanks to him. A lot of people we still go out with the same community that we were working with, the community, the unhoused community, the unsheltered community. And they now see him and they're like, wait, what? Like he
Right.
almost gives them the light to shine. Like, wait, I can
Sure.
do this. If Fads does, I can do this.
Right.
So with that blessing, we actually have 19 people off the streets.
Yes.
Wow.
They actually are not only off the streets, not addicted to their substance of that they chose,
Right.
but they're
Yeah.
also either in sober housings and or connected back with their families, so they're staying in family settings.
Right.
So or have their
Wow.
own apartments.
Yep.
So that is such a blessing from like our little organization that we
Yes.
started. It was really like
Yes.
the five, six of us that started it, right?
Yep.
So that's probably one of our biggest blessings, I think, is having
Absolutely.
people, because that's what we want, you know.
Yeah.
We're starting to actually talk to we've actually met the mayor and the governor,
Yes.
and
Oh,
so that was
cool.
a blessing. And we are trying to figure out a way to actually get a building so that we can have people that are looking to get off the streets and be recovered
Right.
to come through the programs that we were working with to help. It takes a village. It's not just us, but we actually have been
Right.
blessed to be able to have the universe kind of lined us up with the right people
Right.
to so that we can you know, bring people through their journey. And again, talking the last time we talked about how we thought it was food, then we thought it was clothes, and then we realized it was connection, which is really
Yes.
what people were missing.
Yeah.
And that part we're still huge on, the connecting.
Yeah.
And I think it'll just be easier to connect when we're all in one building, and you know what I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
being able to lift each other up every day versus bringing each other down, and
Sure.
and also us running around trying to find them. So
Right. Right.
that's another blessing. More blessings, the actual the food pantry, which is the New Hampshire Food Bank.
Absolutely.
They actually feed all of New Hampshire. We've gotten vetted with them.
Yes.
So we've been
Wow.
picking up food every week with them.
Yes.
Again, thank God, because that enables us to go get the food, and we're giving healthy food out now. So remember
Yes.
last time it was like
Right.
Pop-Tarts and whatever people donated. Now we're
Yeah.
doing like chicken, tuna fish, peanut butter, jelly. We get
Yep.
bread donated from other people, so then they can make a sandwich.
Cabbages, carrots,
Carrots, potatoes,
That's
Yeah.
stuff.
awesome.
It has been quite a road, a path to recovery, if I may put it that way.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, thanks to Tia, 100%. This is where that journey began. And again, being out here homeless, the the physical addictions and the um, you know, it tends to run hand in hand. Unfortunately, you're starting to see more and more of that. And again, as time goes, it's just a question of working on that and then seeking um, you know answers, I guess, to really what's deeper,
Yeah.
or the deeper problem. But yeah, I I pretty much have not experienced this level of sobriety. I'm going on 43 this year, and yeah, probably since I was 9, 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, for a period, it was always something. Like it would be, it started with the folks' liquor cabinet, and still
Mm.
maintaining A grades, still going to school, still doing,
Wow.
doing what I needed to do, but already then I'd already started to self-medicate.
What would you say, because you talked about it, how long, you went through these different drugs and different things. What's the difference now? Because you're very clearly you are working hard to make a good life, and it's obvious. And I
Right.
think you're an inspiration to a lot of people probably that see you
Thank
every
you.
day in that area. But what's the difference now for you?
And I'll start off by saying really to what Tier earlier mentioned about the connection piece
Mhm.
is, I think, even just before I made the decision to finally go to treatment, while I was still out here in active addiction and homeless, it was the the connection that Tia as well as her family, her mom, and very close friends, as well as cousins. People, just a large group of folks that just banded around us, and again, um, anything from they literally came out of their own pocket to feed us, to
Right.
clothe us, and that really um, uh, pointed me in the right direction, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've got these amazing people around me. There's just no way I can continue to do this.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's the thing with addiction, right? Is the misconception is that people enjoy it, or the addicts enjoy it. And I kind of beg to differ. It's the body does have a chemical dependency to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just just snowballs from there. But I just could not stand being intoxicated around it.
Yeah.
It was just it was just quite a clash, and I know that kind of sounds, a
No, it
little bit
makes
backward,
sense.
like,
It makes sense to me.
but
Well, I'm so
I,
excited that you're here because this is
it's
awesome because she talked about you. She was so proud of you and so happy to have met you
right.
and know she talked about you before, so we all kind of got to know you a little bit through that, but I'm so happy I got to meet you
Uh,
today and to hear,
Thank you.
I know
Yeah, the
Tia,
pleasure.
yes,
yeah.
there's probably so much that you see that needs to be done and wants to be done, Tia, but just like the
Oh
name
yeah.
of your organization, every act
Right.
of
It is.
kindness matters. Everyone
Amen.
matters.
The coolest part that is that he actually reconnected with his family. So he was talking
Yes.
connection.
Right.
He
Oh,
reconnected
that's
with his mom and his dad,
wonderful.
his sister,
That's
his best friend.
wonderful.
So that to me again was another blessing to have
Right.
because he hasn't talked to them for like 5 years.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Oh,
they
wow.
were to find out that he was
Yeah.
still alive. Right
Yeah.
before Christmas was.
Oh,
It was just like they're like, you're a Christmas angel. I'm like, no. And he does
that
give me
is
all the credit, but
awesome.
he's the one that did the hard work. I
Yeah.
just, said you're worth it. You're worth it. And that's what I think that the internal conditioning,
Yes.
Yeah,
that's what I think acts of kindness teaches people is that, what
Right.
you are worth it.
Right.
You are worth it. Every
absolutely.
single one of us are here for a reason. And the blessing part about all of the people that we've actually helped and brought to understanding their true worth
Right.
has
Yeah.
also found uh, a part in acts of kindness that works for them. So
Right.
some of
Right.
them can't go out in the community anymore. Some of them, financially can't do it, but they can come in and help me fold clothes and
Absolutely.
Sure.
you know what I mean? So so
Absolutely.
that's another blessing that I think we've had.
That is wonderful. I do have a question. So if somebody was listening and they are afraid to reach out to their family, because I'm sure after that long of a time, that's hard to do. I
Right.
know it is. What could
Absolutely.
you say? What is something that you could tell someone to encourage them when they're afraid? They really want to do it, but they're afraid to do it. How could you encourage them?
That right. Well, that's a very good one. And I was incredibly a reclusive individual, and again, in my case, I've had loving parents, loving friends, and that's really what I would imagine is the rest of the world, especially when you fall off the face of the earth, you get into trouble, you get into prison,
Right.
you fall destitute, you active addiction and homelessness. People just want you to be okay. People
Right.
just want to know that you're okay. And above all, people want to help.
Yeah.
That is a huge, huge, huge misconception with folks that are homeless or that become um, mired or stuck in either active addiction or and homelessness
Yeah.
is that we're alone and and nobody wants us. Nobody wants to come and help us, and
Right.
and that's it, and that's quite the contrary.
Yeah.
It's that's all I get now wherever I go is, hey, way to go, man. We were waiting for this.
Right. Right.
And again, like what Tia said, people I thought just didn't have anything to do with me, really calling me up and just again giving me a thumbs up, and
Yeah.
it's never what you think it is. It's never
Yeah.
as bad as you think it is.
Well, I love that. And I'm so proud of you because you've taken a lot of
Thank
very
you.
brave steps. But
Thank
I'm
you.
telling you, you are an inspiration to, I know, people up there, but I'm so happy to have met you. Thank you for coming on here
Thank you.
today.
Pleasure's
And
all mine.
thank you, Tia, for what you're doing. I
Oh
love
my
what you're
God.
still
Thank you.
doing.
I just thought it would be nice to see a result, right? And there's been at least
Absolutely.
over 19 of them.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
it's just a blessing because it's not just me, it's a whole village that are doing them.
Right.
Right.
I just I'm the one that's blessed to be able to be the front face of it, right?
Wasn't that amazing? I just love that she brought him on and we got to meet Funzai and we got to hear his story from him and how he's doing. And, I really believe he is an inspiration to people who are in a bad spot, who want to see or want to believe that they too can work hard. And yes, he has help. And I'm thankful for that help. But I'm so proud of him and the work that he's doing, and especially reaching out to his family. My goodness, what a gift that is to them and to him. I thank you for being here today. I'm going to do some more update episodes, and I love that I get to share these with you. Have a great day.